What would it feel like for a father to be prohibited from walking his daughter to her first day at kindergarten, chaperoning her school field trips, and coming to the hospital when she gives birth to twins? What if this is all because the father is in prison for a murder he didn't commit? That was reality for Buffalo native Valentino Dixon, who was arrested when his daughter Valentina was only a baby.
Every birthday, everything was lost because of the wrongful incarceration.
Being accused of something you didn't do, it's a violation on your soul.
Dixon said his family visited him in prison for 27 years. There he watched Valentina grow up. On the day of her college graduation, he was called to the visitor's room and heard the sound of high heels hitting the floor. As everyone clapped, he looked up, surprised to see her wearing a cap and gown.
I did it. And I want to show my daddy. We always just really uplifted each other.
Dixon credits his family with giving him the courage to fight for his freedom. He was exonerated of murder 6 years ago today. Since then, he says he has been focused on uplifting projects. He creates drawings, which have been purchased by the likes of Michelle Obama, and is forming a charity to help teenagers who struggle with problems like drug use. To understand why Dixon wants to devote his life to helping teenagers in need, it's important to understand the environment Dixon grew up in and the event that sent him to prison. It occurred on August 10th, 1991. The 21-year-old Dixon joined a local street corner hangout at East Delavan and Bailey Avenues. There were about 100 people. According to the National Registry of Exonerations, two brothers pinned a 19-year-old man to the ground and beat him. Shoving turned into shooting.
Growing up in inner city, you get used to gunshots. I had several friends that were killed. It's a sad reality.
More than 24 gunshots reportedly erupted.
Everybody was squealing, and I run towards my car.
One of the brothers in the brawl died. Dixon was arrested for murder less than 10 hours later.
And I had took a wrong turn in my life and made some bad decisions, and I started selling drugs. I had never been to prison. I was out on bail. That made me a target.
A man by the name of Lamar Scott confessed to the murder. Then he withdrew his confession and blamed Dixon, who was convicted of murder and related charges on June 12, 1992. Dixon spent most of his sentence at the notorious Attica Correctional Facility.
When I pulled up to that prison, it was like pulling up to a medieval castle. Got all of these guards lined up, and they give you this speech: "Get out of line, we'll kill you." You know, I would hear grown men crying from the sticks being hitting on their heads and bodies.
Attica has not responded to my repeated interview requests. Dixon said his first prison job was mopping the floors for 23 cents an hour. He saved the money he made to help his family.
He bought me a typewriter. So that's one of my fondest memories. A lot of our communication was letters in the mail.
Martin Tankleff, a murder exoneree, attorney, and law professor at Georgetown University, described the condition Dixon was living in as he saved that money for Valentina.
Find a small bathroom in your home that has a sink, a tub, and a toilet. Lock yourself in that room for 8 hours and tell me how that feels, right? Because that's the way it can be for people in prison, is that their cell is about that size. Now, imagine if you know you don't belong there.
Dixon's entire world had turned into a 6 by 8 foot cell. Grime clung to the walls. He said it looked like they hadn't been painted in 50 years. Days faded into each other as time slowly passed. Dixon's spirit rose when his uncle sent him colored pencils and drawing paper. He advised his nephew to draw his way to freedom. Dixon prayed 5 times a day and drew up to 10 hours a day, layering colors to make the drawings look like paintings. The prison superintendent asked him to draw the 12th hole at Augusta National Golf Course. Dixon said he had never hit a golf ball in his life, but he agreed. That drawing started Dixon on his course to freedom. He created 900 drawings over 27 years, garnering worldwide attention. His story appeared in Golf Digest. Georgetown University professors, including Tankleff, formed a team to analyze Dixon's case, and students helped.
They got so involved and invested in the case and read every single piece of information and transcript and appeal and police report and every document that they could. And they went and traveled to the crime scene and they interviewed everyone they could. And they became convinced, and we did too, that Valentina was innocent.
With the help of former Erie County District Attorney John Flynn, they brought forth new evidence and presented another confession by Lamar Scott. Flynn described the atmosphere in the courtroom when Dixon learned he was free.
People were cheering. They were happy. It was an extremely emotional day.
I'd never really been exposed to someone who 27 years of wrongful imprisonment, and he came out better than what he was when he went in.
Since gaining his freedom, Dixon has been a guest of Golf Digest at the prestigious Masters tournament and stood with Tiger Woods while showcasing his art. But to Dixon, the most precious moments in life are those spent with family.
I'm catching up. I'm catching up. I'm catching up.
No, you're not.
I'm catching up.
You have to count your blessings and say, okay, what kind of legacy do I want to leave?